So through the course of the semester in the class, whatever length semester this class is being offered at the current time, we've talked about a bunch of different things. And this last chapter kind of talks about what you would expect, putting all this stuff together and making sure that it works. So you can look at these case studies, not saying it like sarcastically, go ahead and do that. But all this stuff that ties into it is what is key and what you need to focus on. And one thing is not more important than the other, and they all have to work in concert together. So that's kind of what we talk about within the budget of, Rolling Loud or, a Panthers hockey game or an FAU football game or whatever the case may be, or just, a special speaker on campus. And so all these things, you need to look at all the moving pieces, parking, how many people you need, security, one way in, one way out, registration fees from the case study. Again, it all flows and can flow and be a seamless process, and it can all be a gigantic disaster as well, so you have to figure that out. RFPs, like we talked about, and I'm speaking generally. I'm not speaking about the case study itself, but it is, where we sit down in this proposal and talk about exactly what it is we want accomplished and how we want it accomplished and what we want to have happen over X amount of days, or that day, or that morning, or that afternoon, or the agenda for a week, and laying it all out there. Site inspection, again, taking a look, not this 12.5-hour thing, but sitting down and getting the lay of the land. Special sites for events that maybe are occurring outside the main meeting space. Convention center itself, how do we get in, how do we get out? This convention center is really big. Where do I tell people, what is this, like building ABC, building 1, 2, 3, like how is this going to work out? Can you show me the room for our keynote speaker? Can you show me the room for the breakout sessions? Can you show me all these different things, making sure that it's all narrowed down? Then we get more detailed, okay? And then marketing, looking at other possible sites, other possible hotels. If you are doing a very large event in the city, you may spend, some time. You want to do it right. Look at all the options. First, second, third. Rank them. Rank them by price, amenities, location, everything you can think of. Rank them, right? And, look at the food, look at the facilities, always thinking about your options and thinking about the attendees, right? So again, entertainment event locations, picking the city that you want to host. And I think that this last thing about conflicts with other meetings, it's not selfish, it's not arrogant to say that you want to be the only game in town, to not distract from something else that's going on at the same time in the same city, right? You want to make sure that you are the big show. And that's not really a selfish thing to have your event stand out. And honestly, if it's going to be open to the public, you don't want it to conflict where someone has to choose between you and somebody else. So that makes perfect sense that you want to make sure that everything works from that standpoint. So finalize everything, select the DMC, transportation, start your contracts. And then you meet with key personnel. So listen, it's a lot. It's a big event. And I want to stress this again. Because your event is for 200 people, 400 people, 1,000 people, 20,000 people, it's a big deal for you and what you're trying to do. And any event company or DMC, whoever doesn't get that, that's not somebody you want to work with. We know that our clients are dealing with one of the most important things to them and their business or their family or whatever the case is, and we never should lose sight of that. Big cases, host city, in-house marketers, again, marketing tools, finalize the program, press releases, all the things that we've talked about. This is again, everything coming together. Committees, I can tell you, even some nonprofits I work for, we have committees, and the work of the committees is incredibly important. Once we divide in those committees, it's deciding what the responsibility is for each of those committees and who their contact person is, and their deadlines that go along with the giant umbrella of the entire function, the entire event. So, and nothing is more important than anything else. It all works together in concert. Create the program. As we said, when you meet, what's the agenda? Subcommittees, review it. Final speakers, exhibitor needs, exhibitor prospect. I mean, you have to look at all this stuff, and the meeting time is important for when should this person go? Before lunch, after everybody ate, we have this gigantic, buffet, and everything will be so like, ugh. After lunch, not the best time to have a speaker. Maybe it is the best time to have a speaker. Those things that you have to look at. Make sure that everyone's schedule is meshing and that they can make it and they're going to be there. Confirm, and reconfirm. And get all those contracts laid out. Talking about, again, how you want to make it work and what you want to use and everything that you use and the contracts that go along with that. Get all those things signed, finalize details. We talked before about flexibility, right? Proofread everything, sponsorships, speakers, floor plans, receptions, signage. Once again, don't leave anything to chance. And this could be, as I said, it could be a 5-day, multi-million-dollar event. This could be a charity golf tournament. This could be a 5K run. This could be a reception. This could be a wedding. This could be a birthday party. But it's in some way, shape, or form, we're talking about the same thing. It's looking at timelines, right? So, as we get closer to the date, we're talking about little, very small, nuanced things that by the time we get very close, it's nitpicky stuff, right? It's not like, oh my God, I gotta find this, I gotta find that. Sponsorships, listen, those things are not easy, right? And you need to secure those ASAP, especially the big ones. Gold, silver, bronze level, whatever you want to call it. Tier 1, 2, 3. Get those as far out as you possibly can. Confirm them. Contracts. Make sure that the money is there. 6 months to go. Early registration. Meeting room designations. And early registration is great because now you can start to tell hotels and events and all these other people you contracted with, hey, look, man, we're 6 months out and we're almost sold out. Or we're 6 months out and we're only at about 30% of what we thought we were going to sell in tickets, which helps you figure out a strategy to try to get more people to come to the event. So, again, menu finalization, anything that's happening beyond the normal scope of the expo or event that you can work on finalizing, everything. Ordering of signage. Somebody paid $50,000 and somebody else bought $3,000. Let's hope that their logos aren't the same size on the banner or the exhibit hall, right? That makes sense. 5 to 3 month countdown. Look at how now it is stuff that is, not to say it's not important, but it's getting more laser focused, and it is, again, just kind of checking and double checking and saying, okay, we're close and we're almost there. This is why you have a lot of professionals out there who have done this 1,000 times, who will go and tailor it to the specific, event. But they've been there. They've done that. They understand what's going on. Walk through, review all this good stuff that we talked about. Any special events that are going on. All these different arrangements. As seamless as possible is what we want to have happen. I went to a special speaker session in an exhibit hall, and the one thing they never really finalized was a sound curtain and a fantastic speaker was not given, in my opinion, the respect they deserve, because you could hear everybody in the exhibit hall when they were talking, which was really unfortunate because they were really good. And it stunk. And again, it was, oh yeah, here's some space for your speaker, but what about sound? It was in the exact same room. And so now, 3 days to go. And you're going to be a nervous wreck if you've never done it before. But you see all these pre-conference meetings, walkthroughs, weekly monitoring, anything that's happening on site that people are showing up now 3 days before, and they're starting to, you have been fortunate enough to work out a deal where you've got this event space 3 days before. And they're coming in, hey, we need this, hey, we need that. Again, it's before. That's when I want issues to come up, is before, not during, right? So, as much as you can go through everything, go through press conferences, any kind of media, like, hey guys, just wanted to let you know, this weekend, this is what's coming up, it's going to be great, you should come out, if it's open to the public. And then the day of, you work. And you work your butt off, and you work a lot, and you look at everything, and you start to see who shows up. If we have 99% sellouts, but only about 80% guest attendance. Okay, we made our revenue goal, but why do we only have 80% attendance? Let's kind of look at that and see, where is it a weather situation? Is it a travel situation? Is it that a bunch of people paid just because you convinced them to buy tickets and they didn't want to come, right? So again, you're looking at a bunch of different things that happen. You're walking around, and you are, for those whatever days or whatever time, you're busting it, and you're going around and you're making sure that everything is working right, everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing and all that good stuff. And then when you're done, number 2 should be bolded, and I can't stress enough, it's a lot of work. So we have a meeting afterwards. We want feedback from the attendees, final reports, compare the numbers. If it's your first year, listen, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Something's going to go wrong. Or maybe the better way to say that is, something's going to be different than what you thought it was going to be, what you planned for, and that's okay. It is going to come back down to, so moving forward, here's what we've decided. Our event was very successful, very well attended. The feedback that we got for the most part was incredibly positive. What we need to work on for next year is, first of all, we're thrilled that there's going to be a next year. And as a person who hosted this, we need to work on A, B, C, D, and D, and E. And then as a person who was in charge of preparing everything for the meeting, we got feedback from our clients that they love this, they really like this, guests couldn't stop raving about this. However, there were some issues with this. And we felt like you could have handled registration better. Or the placement of the table for registration was awkward. Or, the transportation to and from events was such that people were showing up 30 minutes late because the shuttle wasn't there on time. When I'm in charge of all this stuff, they're not yelling at the shuttle company, right? They're coming to me going, hey, planner, you promised us that we would have transportation from the hotel to the museum, and that would be every 20 minutes and everyone would make it there in time for dinner. And a lot of our guests said that they were late for dinner because of the shuttle. So, notes for next year. It wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't terrible. People weren't upset because once they got there, they had a great time. But it did affect the overall experience. So, again, things to think about moving forward. Notes, notes, notes. Compare. Go. You, again, as I said before, you want to host this event again. So, what do we do? How do we fix it? Or if it's perfect, how do we make it even better moving forward?